Good morning, you guys. We are on day number 7 of my stay batical to 50, and I realized I should have put a brush through my hair. I had a funky sleep schedule last night. Yesterday afternoon, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, but I had to take a nap yesterday afternoon around 4:30 for a couple of hours. So I didn't get to sleep last night till probably somewhere around 10 p.m., maybe a little after 10. And then I woke up somewhere around like 6 something. And so sleep a little bit funky monkey last night. But I woke up this morning and I came to a revelation. And I want to share some of these thoughts with you. I am on my first walk, by the way, of the day. So I try to get in 2 walks a day on this stay batical to 50, which, by the way, if you have not heard the entire protocol of what I'm doing during this stay batical to 50, I posted on my podcast today, the Living La Vida Low Carb Show, the entire thing. I did an Instagram live a couple weeks ago explaining it all. And so I decided for my podcast listeners to go ahead and post that online for them. So it's available today, right now on IGTV. It'll be on YouTube at 10 a.m. and then on the traditional podcast, the Living La Vida Low Carb Show, wherever you listen to podcasts, somewhere around midday. They try to get that up, so go check it out. But the revelation is that you guys know I've been losing quite a bit of weight. I announced yesterday on one of these Instagram lives that I lost 8.5 pounds in the first 5 days. I am pleased to tell you that movement is still rapidly happening. It is definitely in the double digits now. So the revelation comes into play of what is happening when you release those body fat stores. What is happening? You are releasing not just body fat. People forget about this. When you start losing weight on any routine, whether it's just keto, carnivore, or some incredibly nutso biohacking stacks like I'm doing right now, when you start mobilizing body fat, you also release other things into the body. And I've known this empirically just from a head knowledge thing for a little while, but I'm experiencing it as we speak. Yesterday afternoon, I had intended on, I had an interview at 2 o'clock. It was over at 3. I was doing a couple of the biohacks and getting ready to go on my walk at 4:30. And suddenly, my entire body got tired, like super, super tired, to the point that I could barely move, and that I was so heavy. I just felt heavy. Didn't feel like I had any ability to walk at all. So what did I do? Did I push through it and go ahead and do the walk anyway? No. I decided to rest, and in hindsight, it was the right decision. And this is something I'm very much realizing during this journey as well, is honoring those signals my body gives me is so important. And I'm going to continue to do that because, wow, somebody's got some dramatic music playing over here. Honoring your body and realizing that it doesn't send you signals for no good reason is important. And again, these are things you already know, but until you experience them yourself, you can't really fully know. So I rested. I laid down. I felt heavy. I felt super tired. And same thing this morning. I felt pretty decent when I first woke up, but then I had some eggs and I decided to sit down and let that digest a little bit. And I suddenly felt kind of that heaviness even this morning. Now it came and went and it didn't stick around. Maybe a little bit of the remnants of it right now, but going up the hill. But it does mean that there's the release of some of the toxins that are stored in the body fat. And we so forget about that. When people go on keto, for example, and they say, it's been great, I lost, X number of pounds, but I felt like crap and keto made me feel like crap. No, keto did not make you feel like crap. The release of the toxins that are stored in your body fat is what's making you transiently feel bad. And I think this is a point that we just forget, or we don't know at all. Nobody tells you when you lose weight that you're not just losing body fat. And so, sorry, it's a very steep hill going up this way here in a minute. I'll be flat in a second. So that's what's happened to me. I've had the release of this double-digit weight now, and that doesn't come without that stuff getting in your bloodstream. And so if you start to feel bad when you start on any journey of fat loss, remind yourself it's all those things that your body was doing to protect you. And while you may feel transiently bad in the moment, it doesn't last forever. And so I wanted to share a bit of that revelation with you guys, that I'm living it right now. I'm almost at the flat part. It's really, really steep through here. You're not alone either. I think sometimes people look at other people online. Oh, wow, why are they so successful? They look like they're so happy. And I feel like crap eating keto. And it's because, possibly, you are releasing these toxins. Anybody else experience that? I'm really curious that when you started losing weight, you noticed that you didn't exactly feel well. And you were surprised because all you had heard is that a ketogenic diet is supposed to make you feel fantastic, have lots of energy, and everything is hunky-dory. Anybody go through the woes of that not happening? I think we all have at some point. So just wanted to edify you with that today, in case you had not realized that if you feel bad when you start doing something new to try to move the needle on the fat loss, once you start losing fat, you may feel bad. And that's completely normal. I want to normalize what things are normal. We are made to believe that simply change your nutrition, change your movement patterns, get good sleep, blah, 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 down the line, that everything will get better magically. And let's admit it, a lot of things do get better, totally get better. But there are these things that pop up, like the release of stored body fat, having lots of things in it. Let me tell you something else. I haven't been testing blood sugar, but there's also another anomaly that happens when people lose body fat. You're also going to have pockets of sugar stored within that body fat. So maybe you're going down your journey of whatever you're doing, fasting, keto, carnivore, whatever, and you check your blood sugar and you pop a somewhat high number, 130 something, and you freak out. You're like, holy crap, all I'm doing is eating meat. All I'm doing is eating keto. All I'm doing is fasting. How in the world do I have a higher blood sugar? And again, it's this mobilization of body fat, which stores up a lot of that sugar. And if you joined us late, I am on the first walk of day number 7 of my stay sabbatical to 50. Yesterday afternoon, about 4:30, I was going to take my second walk of the day. And I just had this sudden feeling of tired come over my entire body. And to the point I could barely walk. I needed to lie down. And so I did. I lied down from 4:30 to 6:30. And apparently my body needed that. And I was honoring that. And I think we always need to honor what the body says to do. So I did everything yesterday except for the second 60-minute walk. And some people said, Jimmy, why'd you do 2 60-minute walks? That seems like a lot. And it is a lot. It was a lot by design. I wanted to challenge myself. 1 60-minute walk in the morning, which is what I'm doing now here on day 7. Okay, I can do it. It's relatively cool compared to later in the day. But I think 2 of them is a challenge. And so I wanted to challenge myself. But yesterday, my body said, don't you dare get out there and walk. Don't you dare do that second 60-minute walk. I don't know what would have happened had I tried, because my body was so heavy, so tired. I could feel achiness. And I knew immediately when I felt that way for no reason other than it just hit me all of a sudden, I knew exactly what it was. I knew with all of this body fat loss that I've had, which again is in the double digits now, I knew from all of that weight loss that stored body fat has been released and started to be released. And that included the toxins and other things that get in the bloodstream. And people are like, well, isn't that a bad thing if it gets in your bloodstream? It's transient, guys. It's transient. It gets out of your body pretty quick. But when it's in the bloodstream, you're going to feel the effects of that. And we just need to acknowledge that this happens and that it's normal. And look, I think the body is very sophisticated at protecting you from things. And you got weight, especially someone like me, you've got weight in the midsection primarily. My legs and my arms are pretty toned, but my midsection is where all the weight is. That's the body protecting your organs desperately. And so when you start mobilizing that, you're going to have issues. Iman says hi. Hi, Iman. Thanks for being here. Anybody else want to chime in that when you or someone you know started on a keto diet, carnivore diet, fasting, whatever, that you started feeling bad at times just suddenly? Because I know I'm not the only one that has dealt with this. Mary Soul says, I just walked this morning for 30 minutes. It's time to start getting healthier, not skinny like you said. I woke up at 1 a.m. with heartbeat 116. I breathed deeply to lower it. Yeah, look, with everything happening in the world right now, I think the best thing all of us can do is commit to being as healthy and strong as we can possibly be. Because I have a feeling the Black Plague thing that's been out there for the last 2 years was a test run. And that when the next one happens, it's going to be far more devastating. So we need to be ready with our vessel to get it. So if you're not working on your body now, commit to it. Hello, K-Doll Hall. Holly says, I'm 64. This belly fat is the last to go. Yeah. And look, there's a reason for that. Biologically, Holly, your body is so smart. It knows that if it stores away the toxins in your belly, in the fat of your belly, that's the last place it's going to try to tap into to get off the body. It wants to protect you from those things as much as it can, and it won't let them go until it sees everything else is in order, and then it will let that go, try to use the body fat as energy substrate, and in the process, release those toxins into the body and then quickly detoxify your body. That's why if you have a body type like mine, skinny arms, skinny legs, fit and toned, but everything is right in the middle, that is going to be the last place where it releases. Now, I will tell you, I'm taking daily pictures of my progress. And from day 1 to day 6, which was yesterday, there's a slight little difference. If you guys remember the first picture I posted, my belly hanging down, it started to come up a little bit. So when it comes up significantly, I will post another picture. But for right now, it's not dramatic enough. I want it, and it's only been 6 days. Give me another week or two, and I think we're going to see some pretty significant differences. But the weight on the scale is in the double digits of weight loss. And I feel better. I notice my shirts are already starting to fit looser. So I know some of that belly fat is starting to burn, which is good. It's what we want. Kezi says, for me, I think oxalates are a problem. Gives me a lot of symptoms. Itchiness in the armpits, hips, scalp, low energy, no motivation. Yeah, oxalates are a real thing. And they're in seemingly healthy things like almonds, spinach. Yeah, lots of different things. And so it's why I've chosen to do a carnivore diet, because there's no oxalates in animal foods like that. So yeah, keep learning and keep trying new things. Mary Soul says, I'm going to commit to 30 minutes 3 times a day. Keep going next week, going to Traveler's Rest. Oh, that's down the road from me. If you're in Traveler's Rest, that's close to me, but it's like an hour and a half from me, so you probably won't run into me unless you come to Spartanburg. K-Doll says, keep going. I am. Like, those first few days, which, by the way, my back is about 90% better now. I did not get an adjustment yesterday because of the holiday. They do open here in just under 2 hours, and I will likely go see her. I'm thinking daily chiro all throughout this 100 days is probably going to be smart for me. And I love the chiropractor. First day I didn't love her. First day I was like crying like a little baby because that shit hurt. But the last time she did it, when she got done, I was just like, okay, I can go run a marathon now. It felt good. So the back pain is doing better. I am still having a lot of residual soreness just from all the general exercise and things that I'm doing. And so, but that's normal. I know the more I do this and the more my body adapts to, oh, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. The better I will get at this. So I'm not discouraged in the least. And even with that day that I took off on Sunday, took completely off from everything, I am still seeing progress, which means I probably made the right decision taking that break. And somebody, by the way, when I posted that yesterday said, well, does this mean you're gonna plan a break every week? And I said, you know, I don't want to plan anything. This is the beauty of what I'm doing here. I get to choose just by listening to my body what I feel like is best for my body. And if I feel like I need a break, well, like what I did yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I was suddenly tired for the reasons I mentioned previously. And because of that, I took the second walk away. Speaking of, I'm coming up on the halfway point that I generally turn around when I've done a good pace. And I'm still 2 minutes until I'm supposed to be there. By the time I get to that point, I'll be 1 minute ahead of schedule. I'm gonna keep going down, but I wanna show you guys, because those of you that were on the walk with me yesterday, you'll remember I got to this point and I told you at some point I hope to be at this point much quicker. Well, look, the very next day, I am almost there. So Those little boxes on the left coming up. This is the halfway point, and I'm looking at my clock. I'm at 2 minutes till it's 30 minutes, and yet I'm here already. How about that, you guys? So I'm gonna keep walking down a little more until I hit 30 minutes, but this is usually my halfway point, which means I have picked up the pace a bit, which is good. I think part of that is my back's feeling better. The only little tweak in my body is my left ankle will sometimes buckle. And I know a lot of that is a symptom of the weight on the body and all this sudden physical activity that I'm doing. So I'm going down a little more. I see a little spot that by the time I get there, it should be 30 minutes. This is cool, guys. And yeah, I got to tell you the story. The first time I ever did this trail, when I first found it, I thought it was one of those that looped around. So you keep walking and eventually you will come out. I keep walking down this bad boy. And finally, like an hour and a half later, I get to a part where it just ends. And then there's a forest. And I'm going, what? So I saw a neighbor in the community. I said, dude, where's the end of the trail? He said, you're at it. I was like, no. He's like, where'd you come from? I said, the very start. He's like, you got to turn around. I'm like, I was already tired at that point. Anywho. All right, so we're going to turn around right here. But I made it a little further. Just a little bit further than my typical halfway point. That's awesome, says Kezi. Yeah, it's cool when I mean, that's just one day. Like I said, I can't wait in a few weeks when I blow by that at like the 20 or 25 minute mark. That's going to be cool. Mary Soul says, no rush. Nice to see how you are at the mark earlier. Yeah. I mean, I've always been, even when I was really big, I've always been a fast walker. I've always been someone who enjoyed doing what I'm doing here. So walking has never been an issue. It's just consistency. So making myself do these twice a day has definitely upped my game, especially when I feel like a responsibility to do it. Unless like yesterday I felt bad, which I really did. Incredibly so. All right, so I'm gonna grab a swig of water. So there you go. And there's that halfway point again. Typical halfway point. I'm moving the bar a bit. That was my halfway point for the first 6 days, but here in day 7, we are shifting things. And like I said earlier, other than feeling a little bit crappy this morning, with what I think is some more release of body fat, releasing toxins into my body, I feel pretty good today. And I'm going to see my chiropractor here in about 2 hours. So I know I'll feel even better after that. I've got a bit of a busy afternoon with podcasting. I got an interview at 1 and then another one at 2. So trying to get as many of these things done early as I can. Did you read or listen to anyone in particular to get you to do this, says Kezi. So Kezi, I told the story before, but I'll tell again. 2 years ago, on September the 1st, 2019, I went away on sabbatical. I mean, completely away for 6 months. And my intention during that sabbatical was to try to relieve some of the stress. I had gone about 15 years straight in my work and I needed a break. So my intention was to change my physical body by doing the kinds of things I'm doing right now. I had been doing at that point a podcast with a medical doctor named Dr. John Lemansky. We did a show called the Keto Hacking MD podcast, where we talked about a lot of these biohacks that I'm currently doing. And we did a lot of them in singularity. And John was like, if you stack these hacks, you get some major benefits doing them in tandem. And so when I went away, that was my intention, was to physically change my body by doing all these hacks for 6 months. But 2 weeks into my sabbatical, I had revelations about my childhood trauma that came out that just devastated me, changed the narrative about everything I believed about what happened in my childhood. And my mom learned for the first time that I had been beaten as a kid. There's just a lot of stuff in that realm. And then I had some stuff going on in my personal life that also took a lot of emotional energy to have to deal with. And so I was never able to do any of those things that I had intended to do 2 years ago. So here we are. It's been about 2 months since I've come out the other side of some of that emotional, psychological turmoil. And it was a lot. It would make the hair on the back of your head stand up if you heard some of the things I went through. And there was no way in the midst of all that I could do a physical journey. The stress was just too much. That cortisol would have made me hold on to every inkling of body fat, because it literally triggered me into fight or flight so bad that nothing would have budged this. But the good news is I've worked through a lot of those issues. I'm in a good mental and headspace now from all of those things. Not happy about some of the ways they turned out, but I'm at least content with they're in a much better place than they were. So now I'm ready physically. I'm in a new chapter of my life where I want to look good, feel good, all the above, be strong. And so that's what started this journey. I remember you talking about your childhood trauma. Yes. Yeah, that's a big part of it. The long and short was my stepdad died 2 years ago. And I had revelations about like a narrative that I had growing up and being shipped away to live with my dad. And I thought it was the stepdad that sent me away. And then I found out, no, it was my mom. And she explained why she did it. But then she didn't know that my dad was beating me and emotionally berating me as a teenager. So it was a lot of head stuff you had to work through. And so until you deal with some of that stuff, you don't need to do anything physically until your mind is right. And the last 2 years have been hell for me. And I don't talk a lot about it publicly because, quite frankly, it's very personal, some of the things that I went through. But just know it was not great, which is another reason why I have felt bad that I'm in the position I'm in, because you feel kind of an obligation to look a certain way and be a certain way and be an example. And yet when you have things going on in your life that require you to have to deal with them emotionally, psychologically, all the above, people don't know about those things. They just judge you on what you look like and on the outside stuff. And that's not always the whole story. It's why we should all have such compassion for people when we see them, no matter what state they are in. And like I said yesterday, as long as they are pursuing those things that are healthy and making them fitter and stronger and healthier, better, we should be cheering those people on. Even if we may have judgmental thoughts in our head, just leave them there. Don't vocalize them. Don't judge people. Kezzy says, I have trauma from my childhood too. a mother with Asperger's, a father who abandoned us, 5 kids, parental alienation, 53 years old, struggling to lose weight, 5 years of keto, carnivore since January. I have disordered thinking about food, restriction, especially when there is no weight loss. You're not alone. That is a common issue that so many, especially women, but I won't restrict it to just the female. I think anyone who's gone through a traumatic experience, get yourself some therapy, work through a lot of those issues. I can tell you for me, throughout the 2 years, I had a licensed therapist, life coach. So she's a therapist by trade out on the West Coast, but she's not allowed to be a therapist across state lines. And so the way she does that is she's a life coach, but she has all the skills of a therapist. So anyway, she helped me through some of those really tough times, processing the trauma stuff, processing this other life thing that I went through that was pretty traumatic and pretty intense and ugly. And you'll never hear me talk about it because it's nobody's business but mine and the people involved. But yes, much happier now, Kezi, in a better place now. And look, I'm good at putting on the face if I have to. And I did for the entirety of those 2 years. Yeah, I bore my soul a lot. And I share a lot of these thoughts, by the way, on my Monday podcast, One Step Deeper. But a lot of healing needed to take place emotionally before I could start working on this physical body. And so now that I am working on this physical body and this sabbatical to 50, I think my body's more receptive to the things I'm doing, which is why I think I've had the tremendous weight loss so far. Stepped on again this morning. It's in the double digits now. And today is the start of day 7. So 6 days already in double digit weight loss. And again, not that I care about the weight loss, but it's a good motivator if you're not feeling it. But there's other things. The shirts are feeling looser. And mentally, I feel like I'm getting stronger. Like a lot of the things that challenge you in the day-to-day, when you push yourself to the extent that I am right now, you can't help but get stronger in every aspect of your life. And that pays dividends. That resilience, that bounce back ability is so important. And I wish I could just bottle it up for you and let you drink from it so you could get a taste of what it's like. I think we highly underestimate our own abilities. We always devalue ourselves and don't allow ourselves to feel good and to know that we're capable of just about anything we want. Ruth says, you're helping so many people, being honest. Look, that's been my goal all along. I think being transparent and vulnerable is more strong and shows more strength than lying to people and faking. I think people see right through that stuff. Yes, Kezi, compassion for others, totally. I've always had a heart for people. I think because of some of the tough things I've been through in my life, it gives me that heart for people. I want to help and be a help and be a positive in people's lives. And so even if things I do don't turn into money or extra time or all the things that people value in this world, what I value is, am I leaving a mark? Am I making a difference? Is what I'm doing motivating and inspiring people to be better? That's the goals I have. Now, if along the way that brings more fame, fortune, and all the stuff, then that's just a happy coincidence. But that's not what motivates me. I could have monetized so much more what I do over the years, but that's never been my priority. Don't get me wrong. I love that I have international best-selling books and that I have companies wanting to partner with me as sponsors on my podcast. And they definitely help keep the lights on. But it's always been about, how can I help you? How can I motivate and challenge you to be the best form of yourself? Because quite frankly, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing all those things to challenge Jimmy. And if you can see someone like me challenge myself, then maybe you don't feel so all alone anymore when you seek to challenge yourself. So those of you that came in really late, I had a revelation that I shared, a big revelation at the very beginning, but I'll recap it here. So yesterday I was really tired around 4:30 and I had to lay down. That was the time I was going to go take my second walk. And I was all ready to go. I was telling a few people in text messages, got to go on my walk now. Talk to you later. Well, 4:30 hits and my whole body feels heavy. I feel sleepy. It was a weird sensation. So I go in my bed, plop down at 4:30, and I wake up at 6:30. And so I got up, and I was up until just after 10 o'clock working on some podcast stuff. I suppose I could have gone for a walk, but I wasn't sure what that tired feeling was from a few hours earlier. So I didn't. So I skipped yesterday afternoon's walk because I didn't feel well. And then I woke up again this morning and was moving around and everything. And I had a little bit, I had some eggs for breakfast. And after I ate the eggs, again, that same feeling kind of hit me. And I'm going, what's going on? And it dawned on me that when you release stored body fat, you're releasing more than the fat. You're releasing all the toxins and all the everything stored up in that fat. People think fat is on the body and it's so grotesque and oh my God. But actually it serves a good purpose of saving your life. And this is why I try to reframe what that body fat is. Body fat is not there to make you grotesque and gross and a slob and all the kind of things that culture tells us. Body fat is there. Oh, I love the sunshine suddenly. Body fat is there for the purpose of protecting you from harm. And if you're still storing body fat, you're actually being protected from harm. It's those people who don't store body fat and then harm comes that they're sitting ducks at that point. So you need to remind yourself, if you're a body fat storer, you're in a lot safer position than someone who is very thin and yet metabolically unhealthy and is a sitting duck. I know fat people and obesity and all this is getting a lot of bad press, especially with this big bad black plague thing out there. Oh, and I've had people tell me that. Jimmy, you better hope you don't get it because you will definitely die. And I'm like, and I'm like, my God. But the body is protecting you. So when you start releasing that stored body fat, you're going to release a lot of those toxins and things that are in those body fat stores. This is why eating clean meat, for example, is so important. People are like, why do I need grass-fed, grass-finished, blah, 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 blah. Because in conventional meat, there are toxins in the fat of conventional meat. And so you put those into your body, the body goes, whoa, can't have that. Let's, stick it on the body and hide those toxins away. And so is conventional meat horrible? No, it's better than carbs, but just know you're getting a heavier payload when you use conventional meat than if you bought grass-fed, grass-finished. But you do the best you can, has always been my philosophy. But releasing those body fat stores will release those toxins, which would explain why I felt like crap all of a sudden yesterday in the afternoon when I needed to be walking. Do I feel bad about missing the walk? Hell no. I honored my body. I listened to what signals it was giving me. And look, I'm 6 days in. Today's day 7. I've lost double-digit weight. Like, why would I be upset with the results I've seen? I feel better. Why would I be upset about that? My shirts are fitting looser already. Why would I be upset by that? About the only thing I'm upset by is I haven't been able to flip the tire yet. And I'm going to talk to the chiropractor today and ask her and show her my form. Ask her if it looks good to protect my back, because I do desperately want to flip that tire. And what may happen is on the days that I flip the tire, I will let that suffice as one of the 2 walks, at least to start. I don't want to do the tire and 2 60-minute walks and all the other things, because that might be a bit too much. But that is the goal. Eventually, I do want to do all of that. I think by the end of this, you guys, at 100 days, I'm going to be such a madman doing all of these things. I'm going to be on like 2-hour walks a day, flipping the tire, 10 rounds of, or 10 flips and like 15 rounds of 10 flips. I'm just going to be like a beast by the end. But I'm not there yet. I'm still at the very beginning. And when you start your journey, don't think you need to be at someone else's level of their journey. You be at your level of your journey. I think we like the comparison game of, well, so-and-so is doing this, so therefore I need to do this. Well, how long has so-and-so done it? Oh, 4 years. And where are you? Oh, I'm 4 days in. And you think you're supposed to be at that same point? I'm on the big hill. The big hill at the end. Woo! I do like this time of day because the sun is at a good angle and it's not too hot. It's a good time to take a walk. A little warmer than it has been. It's been upper 50s, low 60s typically this time of day the last week or so. But today it's like in the low 70s, which is still not bad, but I'm feeling that humidity today. Definitely sweating out some of those toxins. So this is why I like doing the walks and even doing the sauna, is all those toxins that are released into the body from your fat stores. Part of it you pee out, part of it you poop out, and part of it you sweat out. And so if I'm sweating, I'm getting rid of some of those things. All right, I'm handling this big hill better than I have since I started. Usually I'm struggling to walk, but I'm still doing a good pace up the hill. Still belabored in my breathing, but that's okay. I'm still a very big boy. Check in around 5 or 6 weeks into this, and let's see how much I'm huffing and puffing. I don't think I will be. Not near like I am right now. But I'm at the end of the hill, and I think I did pretty well. I feel good today. Really good. And I'm just gonna listen to the body. Keep doing all the things. Heading to the infrared sauna next. I was in there 20 minutes yesterday. Is that right? Trying to remember. I might have even stayed in a little longer. I don't remember exactly how long, but I think it was 20 minutes. Usually I've been in there about 10 minutes and it's all I could bear. Yesterday I was in there, and after 10 minutes I was like, I'm still good. So I think my body's becoming more adept at the heat in the sauna, so that's good. And of course, the ice bath is my favorite biohack. And I was in there for my usual hour yesterday. I haven't gone less than an hour in the first 6 days of doing the biohacks. I haven't done less than an hour a day of the ice bath. I love it. And so that's what's on the agenda for the next 2 hours. Can I have the name of your life coach? Yeah, DM me and I will send you her information. She's really fantastic. And I'll be happy to hook you up. But yes, I'm at the end of my walk, my first walk of the day. This is probably the strongest I've felt on the trail. You guys might hear me say that almost every time I come on an update, because it seems like every time I get out here, it gets better and better. And if you missed it earlier, I went further at the halfway point today. My halfway point moved because I was walking faster. Hello, Freak Show Babe. Thank you for being here. Just showing people and inspiring them what I'm doing. So this Stay Batical to 50, part of the 100-day challenge is I'll go for 50 days, and then I'm going to invite you guys to come in and do your own 50 days. Not of what I'm doing. Please don't replicate this madman's schedule. This is what I customized for me. You do what's right for you to challenge you, but definitely challenge yourself. And so I'm gonna invite you the second 50 days to come join me while I continue on for 50 more days. That'll be somewhere in like mid to late October that you join me. And then we all end on December the 10th. Thank you guys. Thank you, Freak Show Babe. Appreciate you being here. Woo! That was an invigorating walk. I can't always say that about the walks, but this is the first walk that I've done since I started where my back doesn't hurt. I don't even feel a whole lot of tightness there today, so that's good. I think we're finally getting that thing healed up. And where my body doesn't hurt, my ankles didn't buckle, all the things that I've seen happening in the first 6 days, I didn't see in this walk at all today. So guys, that's progress. That's real progress. All right, guys, let me get out of here for now. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, keep following along in my journey. Go to my website, livinlavidalowcarb.com/staybatical, and you can see all the updates in case you missed any of them on social media, which they're all there too. But I had my web guy put all of these posts, including these videos, up on one page on my website, livinlavidalowcarb.com/staybatical. All right, guys, let me get out of here for now, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.